You guys ready? Awesome. So we have Sara. She is an author, a wellness influencer, and she is also a life coach. We have Amanda. She is the co-founder of Reset Miami. They do a lot of really amazing mindful events, and she is a certified yoga teacher. We have Huguette, the colorful Huguette. I love her. She is the CEO and founder of Dysfunction Magazine and a life and business coach. And we have Sabra. She's the owner of Mana Life Food. If you guys haven't been to it, it's also in downtown Miami. Super good. And she's also a plant-based nutrition coach. So join me to give a round of applause for these amazing women. Maybe dive a little deeper into your story and how you came to, be in these roles that you have as influencers, as women of wellness, of being such badass bosses. Whoever wants to start.
Sure,
Yeah.
I will start it out. And stumbled upon is a nice way to put it, because it's like I fell really, really hard. Took like yourself, Marion, it was a downhill path of alcoholism, of eating disorders, of cancer, of a divorce, until I ended up here in Miami. And
Miami
along the
seems
way
to be the spot, right?
Miami and Vegas get bad reps, We got lovely, wonderful things here that are super healthy. But it was a self-discovery path, and it was really learning who I am as myself. A lot of it I thank to yoga for self-awareness, self-discovery. I'm also a yoga teacher, former teacher myself. But it was really the drive and how you talk about wanting to thrive. So being a 15-year cancer survivor today, I felt a lot of that same thing where I was surviving, and I was surviving getting past something. I was surviving getting past an eating disorder. And it was like, I want to choose this life. And I want to wake up every day and I want to love what I'm doing. And that's where it started to change a lot in my daily and moment choices. From I have a choice in each and every one of these moments. Mm-hmm. So now it's creating those moments leading up to days, those days leading up to months, and so on, to create more of a lifestyle. So stumbling, but then creating what I want, and really getting very
conscious
selective.
creating.
Yeah.
What choices do you make each day? What are parts of your daily rituals or practices that really keep you grounded?
Along the lines of meditation, and I know it gets I wake up and I meditate. I think that and I do too. There's a stigma about what meditation is, and it doesn't have to just be closing your eyes and looking as peaceful as possible, because that shit doesn't happen, right? It's like your mind goes off and you start thinking about what you have to do for the day. So I tune into different videos, actually, on YouTube that are motivational videos, and it's fueling me with positive thoughts that I want for the day ahead. So I kind of see what my day is ahead, because my days change day to day, whether I'm doing coaching or if I'm doing production or if I'm doing something fitness related. It changes every single day. So I need a different fuel for other days. So knowing what you have for the day ahead and plan for that, my meditation is more so going to fuel that. If it pumps me up, if it gives me a you can do this kind of message, or if it's don't quit, but always kind of pushing towards the goal that I have for the day ahead. And I drink water, and I love coffee, so.
We'll go to Starbucks together, girl.
Please. There's one opening over here.
What are some of the things that you eat? Do you have a type of diet, lifestyle?
Flexitarian is really, if I could put it in one word, and it's really being flexible for what your body needs on a day-to-day basis. After struggling with an eating disorder for 18 years, I got really good at saying, this is good, this is bad. This is fat, this is, skinny. I got really good at playing opposites. So it took a long time for me to learn what the gray zones are and to start to eat based on the gray zones. And how I started to develop that, you all have shared, it's being in tune with your own self to say, how does this feel? So if I'm eating this meal, how do I feel afterwards from it? What is this food providing for me as a source, as a fuel? And it's a lot of self-awareness to learn how something affects you, your energy level. Are you getting out, the same with the meditation, are you getting out what you want to? Because at the end of the day, the food is fuel. So that's what started to intrigue me about nutrition, is learning how food affects my body. I'm like the 5-year-old kid who just never wanted to grow up and saying, well, why? So I always want to know with food too, I'm like, well, why? So that got me really curious about food, and that's how I eat today. So I say flexitarian because there's going to be times we were traveling through Spain, and I was like, hell yeah, I want a piece of fish because I see exactly where that's coming from. Majority of the time here in the United States, because I don't really like a lot of our FDA regulations here, I'm pretty much vegan, plant-based most of the time. But I say most of the time because I have a really hard time putting myself into one silo because I did that for way too damn long in my life.
Share with us maybe like if there's instances of toxic relationships that you've had to cut off, or what do you do to really protect your energy?
How many have heard of energy vampires? So we're fairly familiar. I see a lot of head nods and not a lot of arm raising, but that's okay. It's the nighttime. There we go. We got big arms up in the back. I think we can all peg a person in our life. Maybe they're not immediate family. Maybe they are. That are energy vampires. Those are the people that I always try and limit within my life because time is energy, is currency. And even though we focus a lot on money, time is the one thing that you cannot buy back, no matter how much money you have. So valuing that energy that you have and really holding on to it and saying, I come from a business background. So I always think of what am I investing in a business perspective. So if I'm spending this time, like this is time beautifully spent. The return on investment, connecting and sharing, this is amazing. But I can also spend an hour with a person who just sucks me to the ground and I'm like, what the hell did I just get hit by a truck here? Like what happened? So there's certain people that you can't fully cut out but limit the time. That's the part that I try and limit and create boundaries with other people. The part that I do for myself is every day I move. Now, I know if I asked you all to stand up right now, I won't because many of you are wearing nice heels and everything, but I would ask you to stretch. I would ask you to do like one simple stretch. And that would change a lot of your energy immediately because you're moving your body, flexing the muscles, breathing. Those are the two things that I make a priority in my day is value my own time with who I'm spending it around and move. And it doesn't have to be just yoga. It doesn't have to be run. I do a lot of different things. I'm an athlete in every respect. So it's moving your body every day. That's something that draws energy in for you. And then also putting up your own space to say, I don't think I want to invest that much in you. I can invest 5 minutes and do a drive-by and, hey, how are you? But then keep the rest for yourself.
I think that's beautiful and so important to put boundaries and learn that it's okay to say no. I think as women, we feel bad for saying no. We don't want to hurt other people's feelings, or we're like, oh, we feel like, oh, you say yes to things that you don't want to say yes to, and then you feel resentment. And that resentment is such heavy energy. So might as well spare, your energy, other people's energy by speaking your truth, Let's move to, you were talking about moving your body and movement and energy. What exercises and what type of movement do you all do?
I kind of gave you a sneak peek, but I mean, it depends every day. When I categorize movement, I think of moving my body, but it can also be traveling. Sara, I know you were mentioning how much you traveled as a kid and growing up, and it transforms you when you're traveling. The places you go, the people you meet, the cultures you encounter. Even me moving from New England and yourself she moved from Utah to New York, and I moved from Boston, Connecticut to Miami. So it's like you want to cross cultures. It's big culture change, and you learn a lot that way. But physically moving, it can be anything from weights. One day it can be doing yoga, it can be cardio. I don't like to run. I really don't like to run, but sometimes it's a nice challenge. So things that are always physically challenging me and pushing my own limits are things that I get a little energy source from. So it changes every single day.
That's beautiful. And speaking about, you were talking about setting boundaries. I think that's a huge part of self-love, and we'll segue into self-love. So what are some of the ways that you practice self-love?
It's starting to smell really good over here. I'm going to start with that first, but gratitude is key. Gratitude is key. And waking up every morning and thinking what I have, what I'm grateful for. I look out my window and I'm like, damn, it's a beautiful day. So gratitude starts everything, and coming from abundance, that thriving lifestyle that you were talking about in the beginning. And the other part, to fuel and show myself love, is to give myself spaces in the day to take time, take little breaks, take little pauses, be it to learn something. So every day I need to learn something. I need to fuel my own creative process. And learning something, be it from a podcast, be it from watching a how-to, be it creating something, taking a camera out and just filming something. To me, that fuels me. And taking time out for the relationships that matter, that are going to fuel you. So it goes back to one of our previous questions. Part of self-love for me, I know what's going to fill me up. So it's making time for that. For my husband and I to have time together, for making great meals that are going to leave me nourished. Those are little bits of self-love. And the parts that I get back from people, that's self-love, the content that I share, what I get back from them, the little messages that say, this inspired me for X in my day to change, it's like, that to me is the best form of fuel. It doesn't cost anything, nothing. But it gives the best form of love and receiving at the same time. So all of those together.
So share with us a little bit about your conscious business and how you're able to balance wellness, spirituality with doing something that makes you money, but is also purposeful.
When I was teaching yoga, like a couple years back, and at the time, I think I did up to maybe like 16 classes a week. This shit drains you. It's really tiring. Like it's fulfilling in some ways, but it can really drain you. So I started to get smarter, and I was like, how can I do less because this isn't working for me, but still make equal or more? So I started to take on private clients, and then I started to take on doing corporate classes. So I changed the number of classes that I was doing for greater income. I started teaching on Fisher Island too. So the other part is knowing your worth, knowing what you can do, and then knowing your worth. And be okay asking for it. Really, I would rather have somebody walk away from me when they would ask me, what do you charge for a private? And I would tell them $125 for an hour. And I would drive to your house, and I'll bring everything, and I will do it. And there were some people who would say, great, let's do it this time. See you Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. See you then. Other people would say, that's too much. I'd say, okay, not for you. So it's knowing what your worth is, and I'm being very honest with the numbers. That's what I used to ask. Know what your worth is. Be okay with asking for it. And then be confident after asking for it too. Because there comes that point of self-doubt that we start to wonder, did I price too high? Did I miss out? And it's just go with, that's your gut talking, so go with it. But also value the time that try and get smarter with the time that you're spending. You don't have to do more to make more.
Can you share a time where you had an experience where you faced your own shadow and that actually made you stronger and made you step into your light more?
For myself, because it was it was really driven by low self-esteem and self-image disorder. So you walk into a gym, and I noticed especially a lot of, here in Miami more than in Boston where I was before, you walk into a gym and one of the first things you see is a mirror. And so you see a reflection. In the past, for me, it was always seeing that reflection and saying, yep, that, I'm going to focus on this today. Yeah, no, I'm not going to eat after this. And now it's seeing myself in the mirror, and instead of seeing parts of my body that I want to fix, it's like, you're looking strong, girl. Like, I see the smile on my face, the way that my mood changes before and after a workout. So it's facing the shadow every day when I wake up, when I see myself in the mirror, and liking the person that I see now, and putting those positive thoughts in my mind, and saying it again the day after, and the day after. Because it's the repetitiveness that starts to really ingrain it in your mind that creates a different mindset.
All right. So before we head to the raffle, can you just share how they can keep in touch with you if they want to work with you, ask any questions, all of that? Share kind of how they can keep in touch.
Live Free Warrior. And it's really that across every single platform. Website, Instagram. I'm launching a book December 1st, which is all about my autobiography, but also 52 tips that you can implement into your life for living a life of cancer-free. So across every platform, YouTube, Instagram, and my website, Live Free Warrior.